high-speed internet access, a 24-hour business center, and large in-room workstations. And check out the Bistro, where you'll enjoy healthier food and beverage options, as well as high-tech conveniences. Book your room today at the Courtyard Lincoln, downtown Haymarket.
This is Bud Seinhorst, President and CEO of LIBA, the Lincoln Independent Business Association. Join us every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket for the LIBA Business Hour, as we discuss local business and highlight those who are thriving in the Lincoln area. It's the LIBA Business Hour, Saturdays from 9 to 10 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Jeff Essing, owner of Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping and host of Fitness Fanatics. Over the years, we've helped countless of people gain strength, lose fat, build confidence, and change their lives. And it all starts with the Farrell's 10-week challenge. Now is the best time to enroll during the Black Friday sale. You can join the January 10-week challenge for half price. That's 10 weeks of kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching for 50% off. Head to theticketfm.com and click on the banner on the homepage to enroll today. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill and 70th and Vine.
On the block with Strick and Austin.
You only allow 13 points to Maryland, who's averaging 30. You allow fewer than 400 total yards to an offense that blows past that. Great, but I still am left feeling, what if? Is there one more play, one more drive in this defense?
It's tough for me to put the whole onus, and I know you're not, but to put that onus on them.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Erick Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
We're out here.
I love
We're rolling.
Hey.
It is On the Block, brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Big shout out, big thank you to Mary Ellen's for being here today.
That's a fact.
They brought it in back. Charles, the crew delivered
Catfish.
as they always do. The catfish nuggets, the hot dogs, the brats. I don't know exactly what they are.
Yeah.
I was skeptical.
Links.
They were
money. Jalapeno cheddar brats.
Yeah, they were
cash
fire.
money.
But
So
I was not going to come up short on I knew the catfish was coming. And
really?
time,
Mhm.
because last time you guys went nuts on the catfish. I didn't even get any. The last
That's
time
why you were here at 8 a.m.
Exactly. I was not coming up short.
Stricky showed up at like 8:30 this morning. I was like, man, I'm not surprised. I am surprised to see you here.
Mary Ellen's, baby.
Yeah.
It'll bring me out.
It motivates a man.
There you go.
It absolutely does.
Can't get rid of me this easy, fellas.
That part.
Nope.
What's
Because
up?
why?
It's
Weekend picks.
Ooh,
Woo! All right. You ready to knock it out?
let's go.
All right, here we go. I do have Rico's picks. So he has sent them to me while under the weather. So appreciate Rico. All right, guys.
There's some tough ones out here, Nick.
Well, and I told Austin this.
There's some tough ones out
There
here.
is only one college football game between ranked teams on
Yeah.
this week's pick schedule, okay? So once again, no financial advice. Nebraska at Wisconsin. Oh, no, we finished for that one. It's staying in the Big Ten Conference. Purdue travels to Evanston. Northwestern, they just make David Braun the new head coach. This is 11 a.m. kickoff on the Big Ten Network. Northwestern is a 3-point underdog as they try to go for bowl eligibility this week. I guess so. Rico usually goes first, then Austin.
Okay. Yeah, I do gotta go first. Wildcats.
Okay.
Outright.
Nice.
Give them to me.
That's what I like to
I
see.
think
as well.
I'm rolling Northwestern too on this.
How
one.
about this?
I feel good about
a
it.
clean sweep for the Northwestern Wildcats. All four are taking Northwestern new permanent head coach David Braun. Okay, staying in the Big Ten Conference, the Illinois Fighting Illini travel to Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City. Iowa, obviously, without Cooper DeJean for the rest of the regular season. The Hawkeyes are a 3-point favorite at home, and this is a 2:30 kickoff on Fox Sports 1.
Iowa. I hate to say it, but I think they wrap the division up.
Wow.
We'll get to my Nebraska-Wisconsin pick later, but I'm curious to see how my prediction of Iowa wrapping up the division plays into Black Friday.
Okay. Stricky?
I'm rooting for It ain't conspiracy, but I'm rooting for drama.
Okay.
So I'm going to say Illinois.
Rico's,
I want it, Stricky.
Rico's going to take Illinois. And how about this? I'm going to super lock Illinois.
Woo!
I'm going to super lock Illinois to. I think they win. I think they win on the road. I don't know if it'll matter, though. I think Illinois wins on the road at Iowa. Illinois has been playing much better football than they were 5 weeks ago when Nebraska played them. All right, going to the SEC, the traditional non-Power 5 team going to an SEC opponent is this week. 8-3 New Mexico State travels to 6-4 Auburn.
Jerry Kill,
Oh,
baby.
you're going to take that one, huh?
Auburn is a 25-point favorite at home. This is a 3 p.m. kickoff on the SEC network.
Give me New Mexico State.
Man.
I'm going. I don't think they win, but I think they cover.
25.
Auburn. I'm
Auburn?
going to do it before I think about it anymore.
Okay.
Auburn.
I switched them up. Switched them up. Strick, you took Illinois, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Who are you
Austin,
taking?
you took Auburn. I'm taking New Mexico State.
Okay.
Strick, you took New Mexico State. Rico is also taking New Mexico State. He said that's too many points, right? So there you go.
Love the confidence.
There's a couple quotes in here from Rico as well that he sent on the text message. All right, in the one ranked matchup, number 5 Washington travels to Corvallis
Yes.
to face off
I
against
like this.
number 11 Oregon State. This is a 6:30 p.m. kickoff on ABC. Oregon State at home is a 1-point favorite over the 5th rated Huskies. Austin.
I saw some numbers that I think Oregon State is the 3rd best rushing team in the country at home, and Washington is the 130th ranked rushing defense on the road. Don't matter. Dogs.
All
Continue
right.
their run.
There you go. How about that? Huskies?
Super lock.
Oh, hello. All right. Stricky? Oh, this is pass.
I'll come back.
Pass. No, you can't do this. We can't pass.
Okay. Gosh, damn, I'm gonna go to Huskies. Man.
Okay, Washington.
Let's go.
All right.
You
Now
taking Jonathan Smith?
Who
Are you
you
a Jonathan
going
Smith
with?
guy?
Sorry, Rico's taking Washington. I'm taking Oregon State. I think Jonathan Smith, this is a statement win.
Okay.
I think it is. This is the one that firmly gets Jonathan Smith a better job next year. Specifically a job in the SEC called Mississippi State.
Okay.
That's what I feel like.
Okay.
All right. Going to the NFL, the Steelers travel to Cleveland to face off against the really good Cleveland Browns defense.
Wait, hold on. Who's parlaying behind Washington in the rankings?
Oregon. Oregon is 6th.
Oregon's trailing. Yep.
No, I'm sticking.
Okay.
And we should have Apple Cup and Civil War next week,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Both those matchups.
That's
That'll
right.
be big.
So in the NFL now, Steelers at the Browns. We as we talked about, good Browns defense, not so great or not so healthy. Browns offense. DTR is starting at quarterback after Deshaun Watson's season has ended. The Steelers somehow are 6-3. The Browns at home are 1.5-point favorites.
Stricky, did you see who the Browns are working out today?
No.
Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco.
Oh my
Joe
God.
Flacco's in the building.
He's
And
back.
that's-
Lord have
I'm-
mercy.
Joe Flacco, elite.
I don't want to bet against Mike Tomlin, but I do think Cleveland's defense is just a hair better than Pittsburgh, so I will take the Browns.
Okay. Stricky?
I don't know if I can trust Kenny Pickett on the road, so I think I'm gonna go Browns also.
Rico takes the Browns. I'm going to take the Steelers in this one to cover the 1.5 on the road. Okay, and the biggest spread of the weekend in the NFL, the Raiders travel to Miami to face off against the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are 13-point favorites at home.
They get it done.
Okay. Stricky?
I think I'm gonna go Raiders to cover.
Okay. I'm going to take the Dolphins, and Rico takes the Raiders as well. So how do you feel being paired with Rico?
Okay.
Okay. Are you sure?
Okay.
I'll ask you again at the end of this. The Bears travel to Detroit to face off against the Lions. Coming off of a bye week are the Detroit Lions. The Lions in these next 3 games have the Bears, Packers, and Saints. So they could heavily be a 10-2 football team in a few weeks. The Lions, 7.5-point favorites at home for this noon kickoff against Chicago.
Justin Fields back. Dan Campbell distracted. Doesn't matter. Lions.
Lions, okay. Stricky?
Think I'm rolling Lions on this one.
All 4 of us take.
I'm gonna super lock that one.
Oh, 7.5. Okay.
There's the hook.
Yeah,
They got
watch.
you.
They're going to win by a touchdown, and Stricky's going to miss it.
Pause. We might hold on for a second. Let me take another peek.
Okay.
You think you still have the key? You didn't. Throw the key to the
I knew he would not like that when I said that.
Yeah, that was
They're going to win by 7, and they're not going to cover. All right, moving on. The Jets travel to Buffalo to face off against the Buffalo Bills. This is a 3:25 p.m. kick on CBS. The Bills at home are a 7-point favorite.
Jets cover.
Okay.
If I went with Jake, I have to go with Jay too. Keep the peace. I'll go with the Bills.
All right, I'm going to take the Jets, and Rico takes the Jets to cover as well.
I feel like I'm on an island quite a bit
on a lot of
week.
these. Yes, you are. The Vikings at the Broncos. This is Sunday Night Football. The Broncos are 2.5-point favorites at home at Empower Field at Mile High. This is a 7:20 p.m. kickoff. Once again, the Broncos 2.5-point favorites at home against the Minnesota Vikings.
Sure, why not? I'll take them.
Broncos?
There
you go.
Why not?
There's my
Stricky?
super lock.
The Broncos?
Ooh.
The Broncos.
By 3. They win.
Okay, how about this? Rico is super locking the Vikings. He says, quote, Dobbs is built different.
Of course he's saying that.
So that's what Rico says. So Rico's super locking the Vikings. I'm taking the Broncos just to cover. All right. Cut the music. Beautiful.
Cut the beat.
Nebraska, Wisconsin. 6:30 p.m. kickoff on NBC. Nebraska trying to fight for bowl eligibility. Wisconsin doing the same, I think.
Yes, both teams 5-5.
Both teams are 5-5. In a matchup of one of these teams will make a bowl, the other one will not, and have to wait a week for the second week in a row. Does Nebraska get it done as Wisconsin are 4-point favorites at home?
Strick, you want this one first?
No, I do not.
Let me rewind to week 11 or game 11 last year. Wisconsin, 5-5, comes to Lincoln, trails 14-3, scores 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to win. Nebraska, 5-5, going to Madison. They get it done. Matt Rule loves being the underdog. Everyone was talking about Luke Fickell this, Luke Fickell that coming into the year. Both teams 5-5 through 10 games. Nebraska finds a way to get it done. Skurs, baby.
I think they cover at least.
Okay.
I'm hoping they win, but I at least think they cover.
That's where I'm at. I see Nebraska staying within 3.
That's where
I see Nebraska staying within 3. If I had to pick a winner, I'm probably leaning Badgers. Just because I can't trust this offense, man. I just can't trust it. And
unfortunately,
man, yeah, I'm gonna take Nebraska to cover, which is the more important thing here. I'm gonna take Nebraska to cover.
Because good teams win, great teams cover.
They
right?
do. And Nebraska, I think 9-2 against the spread in the last 11 games when the underdog. So I'll take this. I'll take Nebraska. Rico's taking Nebraska to cover. So all 4 of us are taking the Huskers. So there you go. Just to recap, super locks. Austin, you are super locking Washington to cover the +1 at Oregon State. I am taking Illinois to cover the +3 at Iowa. Rico is super locking the Vikings because Dobb is built different. And in that same game, Strick is super locking the Broncos at home to cover the 2.5 points. We got a text from an unnamed texter that said, why would Jonathan Smith want to leave Oregon State? He has a 50-50 chance of winning the Pac-12 next year. Well, here's the thing.
There's no Pac-12.
I mean, that's the thing is there's so much more money involved in every single other conference.
And with the 12-team playoff, it's not a 50-50 chance of winning the Pac-12 because it doesn't matter.
Doesn't exist.
There it is. All right, gentlemen.
I was just
Appreciate
saying,
you guys.
before you go, I want both your thoughts on this. The narratives around Nebraska and Wisconsin. Strick, we talked about this a little bit. That's kind of why I'm buying into Nebraska going on the road and winning. I get it. Wisconsin's looking at Nebraska as the get-right game, like Maryland did, like Michigan State did to some degree. But this is where, Strick, I'm taking the Hollywood story, a bit of the storyline. There was so much talk about Luke Fickell and, how it's going to be different at Wisconsin. He's a college football playoff coach. Phil Longo's had college football playoff caliber offenses before. Braylon Allen's here. As banged up as Nebraska is, Wisconsin is down its most important player. When Wisconsin's won, it's fed Braylon Allen. When they go away from Braylon Allen, they lose. They probably won't have him in any full capacity. Ches Malusi went off against Nebraska last year. Isaac Garendo, not there. He was key on their last drive. Wisconsin's probably more talented than Nebraska. maybe Luke Fickell's a better coach than Matt Rule. Maybe he's equal.
Yeah.
Phil Longo's put up better numbers than Marcus Satterfield ever has. But I just think Nebraska has learned to play with the group it has. I don't think Wisconsin has yet.
That's a good point.
Great point.
That is a really good point. Yeah, I think this just feels like one of those weird games where somehow, some way, Nebraska could squeak it out. I liked that idea that you said there, Austin, that like they figured out how to win with the group they have. Because, I mean, Strick, you and I talked to Evan on Wednesday on this show, and he was like, listen, you listen to Nebraska press conferences and you listen to Wisconsin pressers, and it's completely different. It's a lot of soul searching going on in Wisconsin. I compared it to what it was in 2018 with Nebraska, right? 2018 Nebraska, 2019 Nebraska was, we have to weed the guys that want to be here out, or, from the guys that don't want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And we always, whenever players left, it was, all right, maybe there's an addition by subtraction there because maybe they were a problem to the locker room, right? That feels like what's going on in Wisconsin right now, where Matt Rule, it's all about being together. It's all about staying together. We know that Nebraska and their staff likes to go on the road because it's just them. We've heard that time and time again from Matt Rule. Nebraska also hasn't played all that poorly on the road. They've played pretty well. They went out, won the night game on a Friday night in Champaign, and now they're going to have to do it again against Wisconsin. And in that Illinois game, remember, they played probably 3 of their really good quarters of football. Fourth quarter got a little sloppy, but they still figured out how to kind of stay pulled away and ended up winning that game. Well, now going into tomorrow, you have to play 4 complete quarters. You need to. You cannot turn over the football.
Yeah, I think it is one of those weird type of situations as well. And this is what we'll get into. We're going to get into the quarterback situation, so I don't want to dig too deep into that. But as I look at it, to me, I'm just hoping somebody just sees the light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. And they're like, and I'm not talking about the poltergeist type of light, where, where you fall into the abyss, but then, I'm hoping they find their way back. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And anybody, just steps up, make some plays. And I'm hoping Satterfield just comes to a realization that I've got to be creative as I've ever been in my calls for this game.
Yeah.
We'll see Huskers and Badgers 6:30 on NBC. We'll keep talking Nebraska football as we move on.
Go ahead. Go. I was just going to say, like, it's fascinating creativity, but simplicity.
Yeah.
Because both things can be true. Because I think Husker fans will immediately be like, well, no, keep it simple. But you can still be creative in being simple. Mm-hmm. And so that's where it's like, it's got to be this fine line that Satterfield's got to toe and tiptoe, and he's got to figure out a way to do it now.
And some of that we can only judge in retrospect. If it works, it's creative. If it doesn't, it's cute.
Yep, exactly. There you go.
That's the risk we run.
Thanks, boys.
Appreciate it, Nick. Thanks for doing the picks. We'll step aside. We'll continue talking some Husker football here in this first hour of the show. Plenty more to come during On the Block.
Whether you're looking for a place to stay for a concert at PBA, a Nebraska home game, or just a night on the town, the Courtyard Lincoln Downtown Haymarket is the place for you. Enjoy an evening at one of many restaurants or bars within a short walking distance. Business travelers at the hotel will enjoy free high-speed internet access, a 24-hour business center, and large in-room workstations. And check out the Bistro, where you'll enjoy healthier food and beverage options, as well as high-tech conveniences. Book your room today at the Courtyard Lincoln Downtown Haymarket.
If you want all the latest technologies from those big banks, but you also want that hometown feel when you walk in the front doors, choose Midwest Bank. They have top-notch technology. They make banking so easy, and they also have the friendliest staff, who will take their time to get to know you and treat you like family. You get the best of both worlds when you choose Midwest Bank. I live on the go, and now I can bank on the go. With Midwest Bank, I have everything I need at my fingertips. I'm volleyball player Allie Batenhorst, and at Midwest Bank, you'll love banking here.
A team succeeds when they work together. Banking's no different. At UBT, we're in your corner for every financial move you want to make. Your money's backed by a roster of experts who put in the work to know you and your community. So whether you're opening a savings account, buying a home, or planning your future, you always know who to turn to. Working together toward your financial goals. That's a win in our playbook. Union Bank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197. You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
If you're not going to Memorial Stadium for a home game and don't have any travel plans for away games, there's a great place in Omaha to catch the action, the Inner Rail Food Hall. There's plenty of space. The Backstretch Bar has amazing game specials on game days. $15 Blue Moon and Bud Light pitchers, $6 margaritas, and $6 Moscow mules. And if you're hungry, take in some of their great options from their game day pizza specials. Do football game day right in the Inner Rail Food Hall in Exarban Village in Omaha.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com. Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
We've got a playoff rematch coming up this Friday at the Ice Box as the Lincoln Stars face off against the Des Moines Buccaneers. It's the Buccaneers' first visit to the capital city since being swept in the first round of the Clark Cup playoffs last April. Don't miss out on an exciting Friday night of Stars hockey. Purchase your tickets today by heading to LincolnStars.com.
The Mill Coffee and Tea, formerly with 4 Lincoln locations, but now 5 Lincoln locations. That's 25% more locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? Feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11, located right alongside the 93.7 The Ticket Studios at 1040 O Street.
Brown Shoe Fit has all types of shoes for you to excel this fall. Check out their large variety of tennis shoes and dress shoes in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Merrell, On, and many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Atrex. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln, or check out their options online at brownshoefitco.com. Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 10th and P or at 1501 Center Park Road.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back on the block. Austin Norman and Erick Strickland with you here once again on the block. Brought to you, as always, by our friends at Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Big thanks to them. Sounds a little Halloween-y. We're on Thanksgiving, Stricky.
Man, hey, listen, it was so good.
It's scary
Austin. Good. Man, I mean, I went to work on it, and I could have went, if I wasn't really watching myself and what I'm eating right now, and not that it's bad, but I didn't want to go all in and have that super full type of feel. I wanted to be good so that way, I'm still maintaining and I don't have to do the extra work in the gym.
Just do enough work, not extra
enough.
work. Makes sense. In your playing days, always doing extra.
Man, but listen,
today,
bro,
enough.
It's not as easy to get out there and do it. Like he's got a lot more effort it takes to get out there these days, but it's cool. I like it. I enjoy it. Keeps me inspired.
Sure does. Let's set the table for the rest of the show. We'll talk some Nebraska football here. There's some stuff going on in your former realm in the NBA. Some lawsuits getting settled, some stuff coming to light we'll talk about to end this hour. Hour 2, we'll talk some more college football. Any residual Nebraska, Wisconsin thoughts you have, you can let us know, 402-464-5685, or, of course, on any of our streams, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. We'll preview the weekend in college football, a couple NFL games to talk about, and our guy Andrew Alex out there at 24/7 Sports in Blacksburg. He'll give us a rundown of ACC football for sure, but hey, basketball season's in full swing too. Maybe we'll give a little basketball check-in with AA. But Strick, we're talking quarterbacks here. They're the big story. Again, I think my gut would tell me to start Jeff Sims in this game despite everything. I think Chubba Purdy's going to be the starter, though, and it's too hard to be upset about that, given the way he led Nebraska, 85 yards down the field, needed those last 5 yards to really, etch himself into Nebraska 2023 season lore. But as you look at this quarterback position for Nebraska, whether it's Sims or it's Purdy starting, do your expectations for the offense and for the team change in the Wisconsin game?
Oh, that's something we talked about a little bit on WTF last night as we got into a little bit of the quarterback debate. Now, listen, the way I look at it is this way. I look at Purdy. If you could probably have him, I would probably look at him in the middle. I think Harburg, if you have a fully healthy Harburg, you probably start with him. I think he probably can give you the best opportunity to win potentially. If you don't have to throw and you can rely on the run and just little dumps and move the chains a little bit, I think you can rely on Harburg. If you get into long behind the chains and you're going long, I don't like him in the pocket. I don't like him standing around. I think even when he takes snaps in the shotgun, he takes an extra 3 steps back, which give rush ends an opportunity to get angles on him. And he doesn't have step up. He has freak out and not that step up to evade, to give himself a little bit more time to still survey down. So he needs to either catch the ball, stand there, allow those tackles to work them around him and allow those lanes to open up, or to be able to continue to look down and maybe get a couple of reads. So anyway, I didn't mean to devil on that. I think Purdy second. Jeff still, he still has me a little worried. But the fact that they're bringing redshirt freshman Luke Longville, that tells me that there's something amuck out there.
You know what it tells me?
What's that?
Harburg's not good to go.
See, there you go. So when you have two, that's where I was alluding to. You have two potentially injured quarterbacks in Harburg and Purdy.
And Sims was injured before.
But then you can't just totally rely on Sims. You have to maybe have another option available. So I would be preparing him as if potentially you might get in this game.
The reason that I say start Sims if he's fully healthy, and Chubba Purdy's still dealing with a little bit of the groin injury, I get it. Chubba Purdy played better in terms of performance last week. Absolutely, Chubba Purdy. In terms of performance across the year, now that Chubba has much to go on, but it's been fewer turnovers than Jeff Sims. But if you think Chubba's an injury risk, think about the only other time he started a game Strick was at Michigan. He injured himself. He went down, got his cleat caught in the turf, wasn't able to come back into the game, which, okay, you can say that's a fluke, but he's been dealing with this soft tissue kind of groin injury all year. If Chubba gets hurt and you have to bring Jeff Sims in cold, I would rather try to get Jeff Sims in rhythm from the beginning of the game than have to bring in, a reliever off the bench. I'm not saying bring Jeff Sims in because of some high ceiling or because of performance. I just think for continuity and for rhythm, this offense has had so little of it all year. I would say start with Sims just to try to avoid another variable in the middle of the game. But Purdy's probably steadier. I think he can raise the floor of the offense to some degree. It's just so tough because for all the negative we talk about with Jeff Sims, he's ripped some throws, ones that have been caught and ones that have been dropped. He's had some nice runs, and it's just obviously the turnovers. We know what it is, or he comes in relief and calls the wrong play, or someone goes the wrong direction. So much of it is on him. So much of it is not on him. The whole offense is a mess. So to go back to the question I asked you, does it change the expectation for me in terms of like the number of points or how the offense looks? No, I don't think it does. I think the offense is pretty limited in its ceiling. I think you're going to need the defense to play this almost perfectly, like it's Illinois or like it's Purdue, and help out. But let me ask you this question then. Which is more important for Nebraska? 4+ catches for Thomas Fidone or 17+ carries for Emmett Johnson?
I think Emmett Johnson, he's been having success, and it's like even though he has success, we continue to go away from him. Right. And that's what just blows my mind about it. But the other question I have is whose voice is leading the charge, or is there confusion on the offensive side? Not confusion, but just an uncertainty of whose voice we are going to follow the lead. Who has the strongest command, do you think, out of the quarterback group?
I don't know.
That's crazy.
My guess is Harburg. I think guys appreciate his work ethic, how he ascended to that job, took relative advantage of the opportunity given to him. I don't think they've tuned Jeff Sims out, but he's not the starter anymore. You know, as long as he was benched, maybe he can be a good locker room guy, but it's hard to put much credence into his voice and leadership given the result on the field. And I don't want to say they disrespect Chubba, but Strick, you know how guys listen to the third guy at a position compared to the first. So I'm sure they'll play hard for Chubba. They'll listen to him. They won't go rogue on him and let him get hit because they don't like him. But what right has Chubba Purdy earned to be the loudest, most respected voice in that room? I think it's Harburg, and I don't think he's playing.
Wow. Well, we're definitely going to see. It's gonna happen tomorrow evening, and that's one of the things to consider. I just know that there was definitely something to them bringing 4 quarterbacks. I just don't know fully what it is at this point. But we don't know the extent of what Harvard. They're very tight-lipped as to what's going on right now. Maybe they don't want to give any insight to the opponents, out there in Wisconsin. But it's something to it. I just don't know. I just haven't been able to put my hands around it yet.
5268 on the Starter Heyman text line. The number, if you want to chime in, is 402-464-5685. Says Chubba Purdy is the equalizer. Going Denzel Washington in this game. They don't have enough game film on him. Okay, I get it. We say that a lot, but I think that's a little overblown, right? You shouldn't have to prepare for a team's third quarterback. Even if Chubba Purdy is different stylistically, like he's third on the depth chart for a reason. Now, Nebraska's been burned by plenty of backup quarterbacks in its day. Callie McManus, Northwestern's backups. Aiden O'Connell led a game-winning drive as a freshman for Purdue.
What is the guy's name also? The running back from Minnesota. They called him Legs or something like that.
Crazy Legs Maccabee from Purdue?
He killed us. It does seem like it's working for everybody else except us.
Right. But calling Chubba Purdy the equalizer puts that's a loaded word. Saying he's a difference maker, he's going to swing the game for Nebraska. He doesn't have to. He shouldn't need to. Rely on the run game. Rely on the skill position guys to make plays. Lean on that defense. If we see Nebraska in a 35-28 game, like what happened the last time the Huskers went up to Madison, and it comes down to Chubba Purdy's arm to win the game, things have gone terribly off script.
Yeah, I don't know if I have the trust in that at this point. We have a good sample size. Let me just say that. we have a great sample size right now at this point to go off of, and I'm not sold on it right now, to be honest.
KJ in Lincoln says he thinks Longville is traveling to signal in the plays since Purdy will be on the field. I'd be curious to see if a guy like Elliott Brown is making the trip. He's been doing a lot of signaling as well. Either way, Strick, it comes down to Nebraska needs to find a way to be in control of this game. Last year's team, had that 14-3 lead, felt like they were in control, and it all turned on a dime. Wisconsin is down the heart and soul of its team in Braylon Allen. They're searching for their identity. You've talked about it with Michigan State. You've talked about it with Maryland. Don't give Wisconsin a chance to get up off the mat, where it's going to be easier to do that even at home.
That's it. You've got to go in there and set the tone right off the top, man. I mean, I would say here's the strategic thing that I would take. I mean, obviously, you're going to have the coin flip. We're going to be the chooser of the coin flip. If you win the coin flip, you give them the ball. You let your defense be the leading factor in that specific instance. Hopefully, you're able to generate good field position. You can go 3 and out. You're working field position. You want to try to score on that first drive. Like every play that Satterwhite draws up has to be something with that makes their eyes have to make decisions or to be slow to react or questioning whether or not this is the guy I need to be or this is the gap I need to be in or I need to be slicing off of the back of this tackle or whatever the case may be and score on that first drive. I mean, you want to put them in a position to where they feel we have to respond. Everything you do is field position driven, score, even if the second one is another stop field goal, where you're forcing them to try to do things that they don't like to do themselves.
Right.
Hopefully you can get a turnover. and then
another one, and then another one,
you're
another
hoping
one.
for this type of, put them in the position where they're having to press. Because then they're gonna want to have to get back into a game, like I just said, that started that way because of the fact you're going to get the ball coming out of half. So there's strategies that come with those, the way that they're going to be making these type of moves and plays, and you want to be on the side that's putting the pressure to them to have to respond to you, as opposed to you trying to have to respond to them.
Much easier to be the foot than the gas pedal.
Man, there's no question.
I also think Nebraska's going to need a touchdown from outside of 30 yards. Get an explosive play. House one, right? Get that key block at the end to spring a guy free so you don't have to sustain every drive and struggle against a still relatively stout defensive front. Huskers and Badgers tomorrow at Camp Randall Stadium in Madison. Again, we will be here for pregame starting at 4 o'clock tomorrow. We'll take you through, give you some hoops postgame as well. Husker men's basketball taking on Oregon State up at the Sanford Pentagon in Sioux Falls. So tomorrow we'll talk about that, give you plenty more pregame coverage again starting at 4 here on 93.7 The Ticket. We'll wrap up hour one of On the Block next with a story out of the NBA. We'll get the 9-year NBA vet's opinion on that to round out hour one next.
It takes a great game plan to win a football game each week, and right now, it's time to plan a trip to get a new car at Mullen Motors. Just like on the football field, there's a wall of defense on the way to Mullen Motors. 48th Street is under construction from Layton all the way to Cornhusker Highway. But the lot at Mullen Motors is full of tons of great vehicles to drive home this fall for the ultimate touchdown. Mullen Motors, still open through road construction at 48th and Walker.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric brings exciting career opportunities for you or someone you know. They are now hiring plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs and installers to continually build their professional team. They offer competitive pay and full benefits packages that include health, dental, vision, PTO, and 401k options. Action has created a positive team environment for over 50 years. Apply online at actionlincoln.com.
Coffee and tea. Formerly with 4 Lincoln locations, but now 5 Lincoln locations. That's 25% more locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? Feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11, located right alongside the 93.7 The Ticket Studios at 1040 O Street.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
We've got a playoff rematch coming up this Friday at the Icebox as the Lincoln Stars face off against the Des Moines Buccaneers. It's the Buccaneers' first visit to the capital city since being swept in the first round of the Clark Cup playoffs last April. Don't miss out on an exciting Friday night of Stars hockey. Purchase your tickets today by heading to LincolnStars.com.
Sunday morning. It's quiet, not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at BeatriceBakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beers, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
At Koppel Chevrolet GMC, we are thankful for so many things this year, starting with our great employees, a generous community, our military personnel, and most importantly, our loyal customer base that continues to drive that money-saving mile of Louisville. Hi, this is Sean Callahan, and on behalf of everybody at Koppel, we want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving and safe travels to wherever they may take you. Happy holidays from Koppel Chevrolet GMC.
Celebrate Thanksgiving this year with Venue Restaurant and Lounge and Venue at Home with our Thanksgiving to-go meal packages. Our packages include sliced turkey breasts and roasted gravy, herb stuffing, Yukon Gold mashed potatoes, a harvest salad, and more, with add-on options to upgrade your feast, including smoked ham, prime rib, sides, appetizers, and desserts. You choose delivery right to your home or pick up at our Venue at Home storefront. Order today at holidaysbyvenue.net. That's holidaysbyvenue.net.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket as soon as the clock hits 0 for the Jay Foreman postgame show. Listen to expert analysis from the Husker Hall of Famer, an 8-year NFL veteran, for 90 minutes after the game. The Jay Foreman postgame show, sponsored by Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinny Kreekak, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Bud Seinhorst, President and CEO of LIBA, the Lincoln Independent Business Association. Join us every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket for the LIBA Business Hour, as we discuss local business and highlight those who are thriving in the Lincoln area. It's the LIBA Business Hour, Saturdays from 9 to 10 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're wrapping up hour one of On the Block here on a beautiful Friday in the capital city. Wish there was a game here, a home game for Nebraska to get bowl eligible against Wisconsin. Huskers up in Madison tomorrow. Wisconsin, home to the Milwaukee Bucks, who I assume had a player on this list, Strick, that have defrauded the NBA of about $4 million bucks. I think it was what, $5 million from what, 17 former players and one player's wife. There's a lot that goes into this, but we're hearing about this from the NBA. It's a list of players that some I'd heard of, some I couldn't tell you much at all about, but even outside of the NBA, it just goes to show that this can happen to any league, can happen to any business. Sometimes people just make decisions about money.
I mean, and this is why I think the discussion is warranted. It also is something that happens, and it happens like Austin said in business. It happens in governments. It happens in when people. I mean, like for example, we saw it even like with the BLM situation, right? People taking advantage of situations that is meant for the good of the group or the whole, or sometimes the concept or the thought of a thing is positive in itself. For example, even you can say in a lot of things that people create that is beautiful in the creation of it and the meaning for the creation of it, in some way someone will try to find corruptness in the midst of it. You know what I'm saying?
And then try to amplify.
They'll try to figure out a way to corrupt the good of what it's really intended for.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I think the discussion is. And if you're not very aware of it, the NBA healthcare found, that there's been some fraud that has been committed. The claims were submitted for medical and dental services, also chiropractic care that was reported as a major part of the alleged scheme. So for an example, one example of that was part of the indictment was there was a $19,000 claims. And let me just list some of the names before I get into the claim, right? Some of the names that were there that were unsealed. Now, this started back in 2021. The bigger names that just recently came out, Will Bynum, as well as Glenn Big Baby Davis, have just come to the forefront, and they have been finished with their cases, and they have been not indicted, but they have been it has been adjudicated and
charged with
it and that part. So Alan Anderson, as Austin said, you may not know some of these guys. Alan Anderson, Anthony Allen, Shannon Brown, who you would probably know in the early days, played with Kobe and with the LA Lakers, probably one of the high flyers in that time. He had some dunks on some people. You can still look up on YouTube today. Shannon Brown, Will Bynum, also with that Lakers team. Glenn Big Baby Davis, you remember him from the Boston Celtics run that they made. Christopher Douglas Roberts,
Memphis guy.
Melvin Ely, Jamarian Moon, Darius Miles was around my time. One of the players that came in out of high school, played with Cleveland. I think he might even got a little bit of time with. Well, then you would really know him as the Headband Bros out in with the Clippers, with him and Richardson,
Quentin Richardson.
Yeah, those guys. Milton Palacio, I actually played with on multiple occasions, also at Boston. He was with me there. Ruben Patterson, you would know him from the Portland Trail Blazers. Supposed to be the, MJ stopper or whatever he thought he was. Eddie Robinson played in New York. Good leaper, very athletic. I think he might have also played in New Orleans or Charlotte. Gregory Smith, not really familiar with. Sebastian Telfair was the one they thought was probably before LeBron James. He was that guy, like the next guy out of New York. Charles Watson, Antoine Wright, and Anthony Rotten, and then the wife of Anthony Allen was also a part of that. Now, what it was is that, like, an example of it would be the indictment would be a $19,000 claim that Williams submitted for chiropractic care, in which they was reimbursed for $7,000 of that. But the main scheme of it was Williams would put together fake templates and invoices that looked like they had been issued by an actual chiropractic center or medical care system. And he's also helped them to obtain fake letters that would justify the medical necessities, because that's what you needed. You needed, I've actually had to do it myself. You had to have been with the doctor. The bill would have to come. You would have to then submit the bill, and then they would have a verification process in which then they would pay the reimbursement for you. And so they were just doing a lot of this on their own. So there was really not work being done, and to the tune of upwards of $5 million in a lot of these cases. So it's not a good deal. But here's the last thing I'll say, and I'll let you jump in, Austin. The players that have been indicted for this scheme, that were accused of submitting fake reimbursement claims, the healthcare fraud in itself is punishable up to 10 years in New York prison.
Woo.
The wire fraud part of it is punishable up to 20 years in prison. And so Terrence Williams, he was sentenced to 10, and we don't know the full scope. But another guy that came up, he played at Missouri after I was there. His name is Kenyon Dooling. He was also a part of that as well. They got smaller sentences. So it's a larger thing. And for me, the question goes to, how do we get here? Like, sometimes I think some of them get caught up because, there could be some struggles. I mean, obviously COVID had hit and things got tight, in some system. And does the tightness of what's going on around cause it to go to this level in anything that we have out there? Or what are you thinking?
I think that when you look at 20 players and one of their wives getting tied up in this, I don't know if there's going to be one blanket answer. And that's what makes this, a little worrying. Maybe some guys did it on accident, thought they were doing it the right way. Turns out they weren't. I'm sure there are plenty who fell on tough times. They're like, hey, here's a loophole we can try to take advantage of. We know they don't actually check into this too much. Let's just see if this works. It works one time. They continued to do it. Some of them maybe heard someone else get away with it. They're doing fine, but they saw an opportunity. Oh, sure, I'll go visit the chiropractor and use that money to invest somewhere else. So to me, I don't think there's any one motivation. I think it's situation by situation. As soon as one gets in, he tells a buddy about it. You hear about it through the wire, and I think I could get away with that. It just seems cheap and easy. What can they really punish me for? What can they do? Make me pay it back? That's the worst that can happen. Apparently up to 30 years in a New York State prison is what they can do to you. And there's no way that, again, I would love $10,000, so don't let me poo-poo this. I'd love $19,000. But man, is 10 to 30 years of prison worth it for that? How do you get to that point? That's what I don't like to hear.
The scary part about it was I actually received a call, offering this to me, and I was like, nah, I'm not feeling that.
Stricky's on the up and up.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, nah, that sounds a little bit too risque. And so, my question to you guys out on the Starter Heyman text line before we take a break, 402-464-5685, is just to bring it to light, but more so than anything, have you ever experienced a situation where you've been asked or somebody inquired of you to do something, because it can take a position of a moral stance, or or is there a situation that could, if offered, could put you in a place to where you might make a decision to step over that plane, or will you just step to the end of the ledge and not go over? I mean, so I would love to kind of understand the psyche. For me, it's the mental part. It's the psyche. It's the thing we've talked about here on the block as well, Austin, is the human element of things in life. Everything is not necessarily. This is why you probably see people doing wild things like going into trucks. Now, I mean, the things that they're doing in some of the cities now, like you literally in some cities have to leave your windows down at risk of people breaking into it for possessions. And I just wonder, because I lived in a time, Austin, where in Alabama, man, when I was growing up, we would sleep with our windows open. We would leave our doors open. It's like you can't do that nowadays, right? Where the kids used to be able to just be out in the yard, in the block, down the block, at the park by themselves, and not have to worry about these things now. And I just wonder how we got to that point. That's and this is not necessarily a full sports segment, but it's really a life thing that we can all take into account.
It's what DP says. We're talking about sports, but sports are important because of the people in them.
Yeah.
These people made their choice. We're talking about it. We want to understand them, understand where they're at, and see if we can't do better to help them and to help ourselves, make sure we don't get to that situation, what goes into it. So
yeah.
I think it makes perfect sense. Great insight from the 9-year NBA vet, Erick Strickland, on everything. That's an NBA thing, but plenty of college football talk coming up. Maybe mention the Shohei Ohtani, a second unanimous MVP. And we'll hear from Andrew Alex of 24/7 Sports out in Blacksburg as we get to Wrapping up our show. 1 hour of On the Block to go here in this wonderful week. We'll be back with hour 2 in just a sec.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Body shaping and host of Fitness Fanatics. Over the years, we've helped countless of people gain strength, lose fat, build confidence, and change their lives. And it all starts with the Farrell's 10-week challenge. Now is the best time to enroll during the Black Friday sale. You can join the January 10-week challenge for half price. That's 10 weeks of kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching for 50% off. Head to theticketfm.com and click on the banner on the homepage to enroll today. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill and 70th and Vine.
At Allo, we believe in the exceptional. From extraordinary whole home coverage to super fast speeds, our local teams are always on hand to make sure your service is running at top performance. Let go of lag, banish buffering, and enjoy outstanding service throughout your entire home. We believe in delivering nothing less than exceptional service, so that's exactly what we do. Visit us at allofiber.com to experience the exceptional.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Our sales, precision ag, parts, and service teams are ready to serve you this planning season. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
It's the holiday season. Time for work parties, friend get-togethers, family gatherings, which means lots of eating. Maybe you think you've perfected your holiday meals, and maybe you have no idea where to even start. Let's fix that right now. No holiday party is complete without Führer's cheese spread. It goes well with any type of cracker, pretzels, apple, chili, vegetables, chips, and of course, it's perfect to pair with wine or beer. Holiday meals aren't complete until Führer's cheese spread is on the table. Find your own container at your nearest local grocery store today.
Whether you're looking for a place to stay for a concert at PBA, a Nebraska home game, or just a night on the town, the Courtyard Lincoln Downtown Haymarket is the place for you. Enjoy an evening at one of many restaurants or bars within a short walking distance. Business travelers at the hotel will enjoy free high-speed internet access, a 24-hour business center, and large in-room workstations. And check out the Bistro, where you'll enjoy healthier food and beverage options, as well as high-tech conveniences. Book your room today at the Courtyard Lincoln Downtown Haymarket.
This is Bud Seinhorst, President and CEO of LIBA, the Lincoln Independent Business Association. Join us every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket for the LIBA Business Hour, as we discuss local business and highlight those who are thriving in the Lincoln area. It's the LIBA Business Hour, Saturdays from 9 to 10 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is hiring and seeking motivated applicants. Gray offers a second-to-none benefit package that includes health,
dental, vision, 401k, paid vacation, and paid holidays. They offer great pay and tuition reimbursement or a tool purchase program for qualified candidates. It's a fun, friendly team with lots of variety and work assignments, so there's something for everybody. View and apply for their job openings today at grayusa.com or visit them in person just off I-80 and North 56th Street. Come be a part of the Gray difference.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Erick Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Welcome back to On the Block. E-Strick, Austin Orman here in the building. It is a Friday. One more hour left here on the block, and then we'll get into the weekend. Obviously, it is a big weekend for the Huskers with an opportunity to push their button for being eligible for a bowl game for the first time in a long time. So we're going to get into some college football weekend previews. We'll talk a little bit about some games, some matchups, what's out there, what's going on, and who has a good shot to continue to step up in the ladder or who might get knocked down off their pedestal over the weekend. We'll also talk a little bit about some NFL games that may be wonderful to match up, some great matchups that might be out there. Also, you got to think about Joe Burrow, and there might be an investigation with regards to why wasn't he on the ineligible list. And so there's some things out there right now that's kind of going on as we get into the final stages of college football season, and we're starting to get closer and closer to the NFL playoffs. Now, one quick thing off the Sauter Heyman text line is Hammond Beans. He's like me, and I appreciate you. Thank you, Hammond Beans, for the text. We grew up, he says, I grew up in a house that had unlocked keys in the car overnight, small town in Nebraska, used to be very honest. And I think there's a lot of places like that, man. It's just so crazy. I just remember as a kid just jumping in my bike and just riding. I'd ride down to the McDonald's. I mean, not even close to the house, like miles away, and come home and go to the park at any point in time. It was very community driven, life back in the day. Like if I got in trouble, probably doing something wild on the block or in the street, the neighbors would definitely let my pops know. And then, so I could get in trouble twice. It was really funny like that. But hey, times have changed, times have become different, and it is what it is, and we just got to navigate through it.
It's weird because I didn't grow up in that realm, but I think part of that was just the personality of my family, right? I've never, felt like I lived in an unsafe neighborhood where I wouldn't be able to do any of those things. I'm just so risk averse. I don't think I'm selfish. Like I want to meet my neighbors. I want to know who they are. Some of my best memories were, playing street football, playing pickup basketball with neighbors at the house that we moved into when I was young enough. So stuff like that is neat, and it's necessary, right? Because a community isn't just houses that are next to each other
and look good and are in great shape.
Everyone's mowed the lawn,
Yeah.
within 2 weeks, whatever. That's not a community. That's not a neighborhood. Community is the people. Neighborhood's the
Right.
people. It's the relationships that you build. And we're not saying that, everyone has to be best of friends or, hey, they can just walk into your house uninvited whenever. You probably won't know all your neighbors like that. If you're lucky enough to, that's a blessing. Absolutely count them. But to not see your neighbor outside, look down and try to hurry into your garage, to say hi, to ask how's your day going, to walk cookies over now that we're getting closer and closer to Christmas. Just little things like that aren't that difficult, that are a big leap in today's society, but that I think really formed the fabric of just society in general for so many years.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that hard to get back.
Well, yeah, that's the case. Nyla Boo also says it's just a lot of people are dealing with hard times. I think another factor of it is just the aspect of not being able to, what I would say is used to be able on a nice middle-class salary or a nice, factory job, you could sustain a household. Like, believe it or not, man, when I was growing up, Austin, gas was 99 cents a gallon.
Nice.
You can go out, you can go into places and get into stores and get a nice treasure trove of groceries for little or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It was just way different back then. It's just now you need 2 households. Like you literally, if it's tough without 2 incomes coming into the house,
It sure is.
And so then that leaves open those other things.
And I think that's entirely fair, but I'm going to look at it from a different way too. Just because you're having hard times, I think most of our natural reaction is to retreat within. I think that's what our society would tell us to do. You can do it by yourself, pull yourself up. But if you are struggling, if you don't have things, if there's not a lot of disposable income, what do you have? You have people around you. It's free to form a relationship. To say hi when a neighbor's out there.
You used to go next door. See, you didn't, but we used to go next door if we needed some butter.
Right.
Or we needed some sugar.
Cup of sugar.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Like milk. You know what I'm saying? Can I just, get a little thing of milk? And they would pour you some, and everybody. It was wild. It was like that.
So just because maybe more people are having tough times or it's harder to get along financially, I don't think that's a reason to retreat. I think that's an excuse. If you come home, your neighbor's out there having a bad day yourself doesn't say, well, it's their job to say hi to me. Say hi to them. You don't know what's going to come of it. Maybe they're not receptive. Maybe they don't hear you, whatever, but it's free. If you don't have much, hold on to what you do have or try to make something new like community.
No doubt about it. Thank you guys on the Sutter Heyman text line as well. Well, let's shift back over now to college football weekend preview. A game that I think is very interesting. Don't know how it'll pan out. It was not part of the picks that Nick put together today. I was surprised. I actually thought it would be, but it's the Georgia-Tennessee game. What's your initial thoughts on how that would go? I actually, if it would have been in the picks, I would have chose Tennessee. There's just the number I thought was a little bit too high. I think it's like 16 or something like that. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I thought that's what I saw. Let's see here. I got it maybe right here. Yeah. 10. It's 10. And at home, for some reason, man, it's a quirky weekend. I would have probably still chose Tennessee to cover. Not necessarily maybe to win, but still to cover.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Tennessee, though, got pushed around by Missouri. This is a defense that's been solid against the run. I think top 15 nationally in success rate, limiting opponents. And Missouri ran all over it. Now, Missouri's running back leads the SEC in rushing yards. He's balling.
He's him.
Missouri is balling right now. But to take yourself seriously as a national title contender, you have to win these types of games.
That's a fact.
If you're Tennessee. They didn't. They got pushed around by Missouri. We've talked about Georgia's struggles. Oh, are they really Georgia? They're still going to beat you up. They're still coming after you. Even if the offense isn't as explosive, it's still going to be tough. So I think Georgia...
I think Carson Beck's solid, too.
I do, too. I think he's improving. Very quietly, very under the radar. Brock Bowers is back, healthier. Now, I think you're going to see more out of Brock Bowers than you see out of Braylon Allen for Wisconsin. I don't know if Georgia's rounding into form, but I don't know if I can take Tennessee to win a game like this until they prove it. Even if it's at home, I still trust Georgia more. They've been in these situations. They've been in tougher situations than I think they'll face at Neyland. So Tennessee's good, but Tennessee is approaching that Penn State territory for me. Okay, you get to the precipice, you get to that ledge, you never take the jump.
Yeah. That's an interesting game. Again, I don't know. What's your thoughts on it? Send us to the Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. How do you think the Georgia-Tennessee game will go? Hottest team in football, Arizona, is going to face against one of the stronger physical teams in Utah, down there in Tucson. How do you view it? Can Arizona continue at the run? I mean, they look really good.
So Washington and Oregon State was a 1-point, spread. So is Utah, Arizona. Gonna do it in two different ways. It's the Utah defense. That's what it is. They limited Washington in some degree, but ultimately there's just too many weapons. Yeah. I just don't think Utah has enough on offense. Arizona, had looked really good for the last few weeks. Didn't look so great against Colorado. Took everything they had to get out of Boulder with a win, but they managed to do it. They stay on the winning streak. I think they learned a lot from that situation, those circumstances against Colorado. But as good as Colorado's offense can be, I still think Utah's defense is better than Colorado's offense. I think that Utah defense can still hold Arizona's offense down enough to keep the Utes in the game, and you don't want to let Utah hang around, right? Colorado found out you don't want to let Arizona hang around, but Utah's been doing this for years and years under Kyle Whittingham now. So even though it's on the road, I think I still lean Utah on this one, Stricky.
Okay, sure, you're right. Another one, I think this is interesting to me. I can't believe actually Clemson is a 7.5 point favorite, but when you look at the game against North Carolina and Clemson in the Valley, Clemson has been kind of coming out of its shell a little bit. So I think to me it comes down to whether or not you believe in Drake May, who's eclipsed over 3,000 yards in passing, 21 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. It's just a matter of do you believe that North Carolina can just go on the road and get it done in the Valley, the shadow of the Valley of Death. But they haven't been that as of late, but still, I think they're playing pretty good football right now. That I don't know if I believe in 7.5, but I still would say, I don't know for sure if North Carolina is built like that.
Who needs this game worse? Let me ask you that.
I would say Clemson, no doubt.
You would?
I would.
See, I actually go with the Tar Heels in this one. You
don't like the Tar Heels, and you're over here going with the Tar Heels?
But I think they need it worse.
Okay.
I think they need it worse because we were talking about them as, dark horse playoff team earlier in the year. They're going to challenge Florida State. They're coming for them. We'll have Travis versus May in the conference championship game. Outside hope of that right now. Carolina needs everything to break right to get there. This is a huge game for them. Clemson, we know the narrative from earlier in the year, but they're bowl eligible now. They're 6-4. Not a vintage Clemson team, but it looks like they figured some stuff out with Shipley and Maffa in the running game.
Maffa. That boy gets it. Big body. Okay.
He does. Klubnik is, I think, starting to turn a corner. Maybe not all the way there yet, but with Clemson, it's always going to be the defense. It's long, it's fast, it's athletic. It has, I'm going to say, 3, first 2-day draft picks at least on that defense. It's going to ball out. It's at home. They want to keep Carolina down a peg because it's still, Clemson, I think, still views it as their conference. I think Clemson thinks, oh yeah, this is our step back, but we've run this place. It's still ours. Clemson's bowl eligible. There's not a lot big picture on the table for them this season. This game means everything to Carolina. They have to prove that their defense can step back up to where it was early in the year and that Drake May and that skill position group can get the job done against a top 25, top 20 caliber defense.
Well, when you look at the SEC this year, man, I think it's been a down year for them, even though, they still have some teams that are looking pretty good. I mean, I think expectations for some of them are obviously like LSU, and then Ole Miss kind of comes out of the woodwork. Texas A&M probably had greater expectations than they would have afforded. Obviously, Auburn is now kind of falling through the cracks and in the doldrums. Florida thought they might have had a chance to come back, and then they've all been down outside of Georgia and Alabama with the hiccup, and they're still the ones. They're still the ones to watch. Now, the SEC has been doing things that is interesting to me as well. Is now the reason why they're doing this, I have no clue, and this is why I want to ask you, Austin, because Is it because of the scheduling early on that like they want to get out ahead of the other conferences by way of hard schedules early in the non-con, that when they get to the latter half, they try to take a break? That's kind of it. They work differently than other conferences. Do you think that cupcake late season games that they throw in outside of the non-cons, or do you like the other method of kind of getting it going and then coming late and raising your level? I think you can hurt yourself if you do this towards the end of the season in some situations.
I do too. I mean, you're still playing the same 12 games. They won't play FCS teams. There's going to be a lot of lower level, Sun Belt, Conference USA type of games. I get why they do it, because you can have some of those bigger games a week earlier than everyone else, have a conference game in the books. The Big Ten starting to do that too, starting Nebraska off with a conference game the last few years. I don't know, Stricky. I'm just a traditionalist. I just like the idea of you play your non-conference games first, then you ramp into conference play. The stakes should climb, get higher every week. The weird, to borrow a Stricky phrase, the weird pause for week 12, game 11, I just don't like it. It just throws everything
feels
off.
Ugly. It
feels like
a
random tune-up game that you shouldn't need at this point in the year. I guess you can say, oh, well, it gives us a chance to, play guys in a game at the end of the year, not just the beginning of the year, see how far these guys we're going to redshirt have come. I can understand the argument for it, but growing up in Big 12 and now Big 10 country, it's, the SEC just thinks it's so special trying to do something different. Just be like the rest of us. It's not that hard.
Yeah. What say you on the Sutter Heyman text line, 402-464-5685? Also on the stream, whether it be Facebook, X, Twitch, or YouTube. What do you think? I mean, do you like it? Because to me, Austin, before we go to break, to me, if you look at the criterias that have been set for the college football playoff committee, that kind of strategy towards the end of the season, as you get to 12, like 4, it may not hurt you as bad, because you still may be on the outside looking in, and it still may be okay for you in the positioning for a really good bowl, maybe not New Year's 6, but still a pretty solid bowl. But when you get to 12, if you hold true to the words of the committee in that strength of schedule is an important thing, playing that kind of game late, if you're in a conference that's kind of like teetering, right, where you kind of got a couple of teams, you're not like ACC, Florida State, but you're kind of teetering right there, it can hurt you. So why would you do it knowing going into 12 that everything is important as far as where you're positioned in that position, the 12 positioning?
First impressions matter, but so do last impressions. We're able to write off a lot of what we saw early in the season, or we choose to write off what we saw early in the season because it's, what have you done for me lately? In some ways. So sure, there's benefit in getting a tough win up front and being ahead in the early rankings, but all that matters is, where are you when those final rankings come out? Are you in that top 4? Next year and moving forward, will you be in that top 12? If other teams are improving their resumes and you're standing pat with 2 weeks to go in the regular season, that's more of a gamble than I think conferences should be willing for their teams to take.
Because what if you get caught slipping?
What if?
You know what I'm saying? Like, even if, to me, it's a lose-lose. Because if you get caught slipping and your team just happens to have a Nebraska type of game where you fumble the ball and you throw it away and you have three turnovers, or, 2 turnovers, and they take advantage of it, and now you're in a close game and you just have to squeak it out by a field. The committee's looking at you funny style, like side-eyed, like, wait a minute, College of Charleston, Appalachian State kind of
who
got
invited
in
them
on you?
to the party.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you look like Revenge of the Nerds, where you came in and took over the party, and you're Adams and you're the jocks, and you just if you've seen the movie, you understand what I mean. But nonetheless, that's what I mean about it. Thank you guys on the Sutter Heyman text line. Axel Foley says on the Sutter Heyman text line, I don't like it, but you have to admit it's smart. They basically get a bite when you claim. I don't get it. They basically get a bite when you claim in the season. Okay.
I get the first part.
Yeah, I didn't get the second part. Axel Foley, clear it up for me if you get an opportunity. Tommy on the Sutter Heyman text line says Georgia, Georgia Tech, and South Carolina Clemson are the only non-com games that should be at the end of the year. Okay. I would even say, I could even say Florida State, you know, at the end of the year. I can even say an Arizona State. I mean, it don't not matter. You're going to definitely see USC. But you're saying non-cons. Okay, so what could be a couple of good non-cons at the? I like that Clemson. I like that Clemson, South Carolina.
Those are traditional ones that they're in state, but they still want to play every year. Moving forward, maybe we see Oklahoma State in a situation like that.
Florida, Miami.
Or
Florida State, Miami. I like that at the
Florida
end of the
State,
season.
Miami's in the same conference, though.
Oh, yeah. So Florida, Miami.
Yeah, Florida, Miami,
Or Florida State. Yeah.
Games like that.
Yeah.
Louisville, Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
Because you can't get that Oklahoma and Texas now. So
No.
Could you get because you can't even get Texas A&M, Texas.
Oklahoma State, Bedlam.
Now you can
play
get that
there.
I like that.
Mhm.
Okay. I like it. Okay. Nebraska, Colorado, some say. Ham and Bean says bring back Oklahoma, Nebraska.
Nebraska and Iowa are playing on Black Friday moving forward. Get used to it.
Cool Hand Luke gets it. You get it. Lambda, lambda, lambda. Yeah. Make a move. That's what he said. Lambda, lambda, lambda. Bust a move or whatever it was. It was hilarious. Let's see.
We should probably take a break and get to Double A. How about that?
Let's do that. Yeah, Double A. We'll give him some good time. ACC talk. We'll be right back. We're on 93.7 The Ticket. You're on the block. We'll be back with Andrew Alice to talk ACC football and basketball right after this.
At Koppel Chevrolet GMC, we are thankful for so many things this year, starting with our great employees, a generous community, our military personnel, and most importantly, our loyal customer base that continues to drive that money-saving mile of Louisville. Hi, this is Sean Callahan, and on behalf of everybody at Koppel, we want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving and safe travels to wherever they may take you. Happy holidays from Koppel Chevrolet GMC.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. Switching over to football on Friday, November 3rd in Class A, number 6 Lincoln East would fall to number 3 Elkhorn South 24-19. In Class B, number 9 Norris lost to number 1 Bennington in a close one, 23-20. And number 2 Waverly would advance to the semifinals after dominating in a win over Hastings, 45-21. Switching to volleyball, here are your 2023 state champions. In Class A, Lincoln Southwest won in their championship game over Papillion La Vista. In Class B, Omaha Scott would continue their dominance in recent history, winning over Norris in 3 sets. In Class C1, Minden won over Kearney Catholic in 5. And in Class C2, Lincoln Lutheran won over Clarkson Lay for its 3rd straight championship. This has been your Southeast Community College High School Minute. Learn more today at southeast.edu with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford.
Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by at 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Go to gelandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Fall has arrived, and it's the perfect weather for the DIY market to listen to the game while building a deck. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams, from treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and Decorators composite decking. They offer advice from real deck professionals to give you proper guidance and to make your project go smoothly. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671 or go online to deckcityne.com.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
We've got a playoff rematch coming up this Friday at the Icebox as the Lincoln Stars face off against the Des Moines Buccaneers. It's the Buccaneers' first visit to the capital city since being swept in the first round of the Clark Cup playoffs last April. Don't miss out on an exciting Friday night of Stars hockey. Purchase your tickets today by heading to LincolnStars.com.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today, with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
The Mill Coffee and Tea, formerly with 4 Lincoln locations, but now 5 Lincoln locations. That's 25% more locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? Feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11, located right alongside the 93.7 The Ticket Studios at 1040 O Street.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, expecting lots of sunshine to go along with calm winds. Afternoon highs should top out around 51. Tonight we'll see clear skies, more calm winds as well, and the low around 32. And tomorrow more sunshine. Might be your last nice day for a while. Those afternoon high temperatures should top out around 64. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on the block, Austin Norman and Erick Strickland with you, but we turn our attention to our Allo VIP line, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. We welcome in Andrew Alex, 24/7 Sports out in Blacksburg. Andrew, 2 weeks to go in the regular season, a week to go before Thanksgiving. What's the vibe around ACC football right now?
Guys, great to join you here. And the vibe around ACC football is a whole lot of questions to be asked. 2 teams will make the championship. One of them, we're pretty sure at this point, is going to, in fact, it's certain at this point, is going to be Florida State. They continue to roll. But on the other side, you have Louisville coming up. Big matchup coming up for them with North Carolina. Virginia Tech, not technically mathematically eliminated, though the jury is still out as to, whether they actually would deserve to be in it. But I don't think we got to worry about that too much. And on the other side, a whole lot of teams that even this far into the season, there's still a lot of questions surrounding. So I think it's going to be a very interesting week of ACC football, that's for sure.
Let's start with the North Carolina team you just mentioned. Strick and I went back and forth on this question. I'd love your opinion. Who is this North Carolina-Clemson game bigger for? Clemson to say, hey, we're still here, you got to take us seriously in the ACC, or North Carolina as it tries to take that step into making the ACC championship game?
You know what? I'm going to say the game is bigger for Clemson, just so far as I don't think many people have too much faith in North Carolina, and I don't think that this game would move the needle all that much. If they win, it's a down Clemson, but, you take the 10,000-foot view, and at the end of the day, the story on Mac Brown's tenure to this point is a whole lot of talent in the room, whole lot of letdowns year after year after year after year. A team that's going to come in preseason ranked every year and almost certainly miss expectations. For Clemson, a loss is just another notch against them. And I think you guys as Nebraska fans know that, when you're at the top, everyone is, grabbing at your ankles trying to bring you down, right? But you can go down a little bit and still climb your way back up. But the further down you go, the harder it is to make that jump. And it's not like Clemson's taking any huge hits in the world of recruiting or anything like that. But a loss here in what will be Clemson's final ACC game of the year would mean an overall losing record in the ACC for a team that over the course of the better part of the last decade was not just an automatic trip to the ACC championship, but an automatic victory in the ACC championship. So I think getting a win over a team in North Carolina that has a lot of talent and, more so than anything else, one of the top 2-3 pro quarterback prospects in the land will be big for Dabo Swinney as you build morale, because the big thing I worry about for Clemson, right? The players on that roster are all signed on with the expectation that they came to Clemson to play for national championships.
Mm-hmm.
And yet suddenly are now going 3-5 in the ACC. That's when we might have to start talking about quit mode and players headed out the door. And that's when bad could turn to worse for Dabo Swinney and the Tigers. Not that the situation's that great, but we know college football, so much of it is about optics. And this is a big optics game for Dabo Swinney and the Tigers.
Our audience was split on this too. You mentioned Clemson playing its last conference game of the year before the non-con tilt with South Carolina. What do ACC fans think of the SEC version of that? Where they're playing in some cases a cupcake in game number 11. Do they think that's the SEC sticking its nose up at the rest of college football, just trying to be different, or do they understand it in ACC country?
I mean, obviously there's going to be different people with varying opinions. I take the kind of realist point of view, right, where if I'm Alabama and you're playing the gauntlet in conference play, and you might even schedule yourself a moderately challenging game at the beginning of the season on national television, you don't necessarily want to add anything to that. It's putting that, you're going to have your bye week, and then you're going to have your de facto bye week. But for a team like Alabama, it's going to be their game against Chattanooga. Get healthy before the Auburn game, and obviously the goal is obviously to go further than that college football playoff or major bowl game. It makes sense. If you do have a weaker SEC schedule, it looks a little bit weaker. But I mean, I think we talked about this, the three of us on this show before. It's like Michigan. We always talk about Michigan's non-conference schedule being patty cake, and it is. But if you know that your entire season comes down to the Ohio State game at the end of the year, and any potential competition that you face outside of that could just be a negative notch in your resume, like why would you? Right? So I think that should all change, and I'd like to see that change as we expand the college football playoff, where 2 losses, if they're quality, could very likely get you in going forward. I'd like to see more high-quality non-conference matchups for these SEC programs and less patty cakes. But for the structure of the way things are right now, I don't love it. It's not great for entertainment value. But if I was an SEC coach, I might just do the same thing.
We're talking with Andrew Alex of 24/7 Sports here on our Allo VIP line. Nebraska sits at 5-5, and there are 4 teams in the ACC, Andrew, that are either 1 or 2 wins away from bowl eligibility. Syracuse, Wake Forest, Georgia Tech, and, of course, your beloved Virginia Tech Hokies. As you look at those 4 teams, how many of them do you think make it to bowl season, and how many are done after game 12?
All right, well, I'll start it up. I think Tech makes a bowl game. I really hope Tech makes a bowl game, but, in my analytical part of my brain, I also believe that they will. North Carolina State at home tomorrow. I'm actually in Blacksburg right now. That's the game I'll be attending. I view that one as a toss-up. Vegas has Tech as the favorite. North Carolina State, for you folks in Big Ten country who don't get the opportunity to watch ACC football as much as I am blessed and privileged to, it's Iowa, but in the ACC.
Oh.
They have the least points scored and the least points allowed in conference play, and a 7-3 overall record to show for it. One of those losses being a non-conference tilt against Notre Dame. So Virginia is going to be the best defense Virginia Tech has faced so far. I believe that North Carolina State offense, who is, moved to their previous starting quarterback, who has been relegated to backup, who is now back to being the starter because the backup is, air quotes, redshirting for the rest of the year to stay with eligibility. Yeah, I'd hold my breath if you're someone who, I wouldn't hold my breath. if you're someone who thinks he's going to end up that NC State next year. That could be a toss-up, but final game, the University of Virginia, 2-win team. Now, granted, they might be the feistiest 2-win team in the country, and they took Louisville down to the wire. Now, granted, that was a Thursday night game, and we know how weird those Thursday night games can be, but Tech will make it. Syracuse, I don't know. I mean, like, you know, they're just not a great football team. And I saw that when they played Virginia Tech, right? But in that tilt, I like Georgia Tech to come away. Brent Key, who actually took over as the interim coach last year for Georgia Tech, was able to keep the job. Georgia Tech is one of the more challenging schedules year in and year out in the ACC. Number one, because their locked matchup is Clemson. And number two, because they have to play Georgia in the non-con every year. I think they're a better football team than Syracuse, though. I think they come away with that one. Lastly, did you say we got Georgia Tech, we got Syracuse, we got Virginia Tech? Was there another team?
And then Wake. Wake is the last one. Notre Dame and Syracuse for Wake Forest.
Oh, yeah, Wake Forest. Wake Forest isn't going to make it because they need 2 wins to get there. They'll lose to Notre Dame, and that'll eliminate them. So it comes down for Syracuse whether they can beat Wake Forest, and that is a game that I wouldn't recommend anyone watch on television. But I like Wake in that one. So I think Wake actually keeps Syracuse from bowl eligibility. But yeah, not that many spots for the ACC, more wild cards for everyone else, I guess.
We have plenty of those do not watch, steer clear, you know, by all means necessary games in the Big Ten. Before we let you go,
the bowl eligibility goal between Wisconsin and Nebraska this week should be interesting. Tough one for old Big Red there last week. Maryland would have been the gettable game, but you got to hope they get Wisconsin this week because we all know how tricky that Iowa game can be.
Michigan State the week before that, then Maryland, now the 5-5 bowl eligibility bowl, like you called it. I do want some thoughts from you, Andrew, through, you know, a week and change of ACC basketball play. Anything standing out to you, positive or negative?
ACC basketball play, you know, overall, we're still in too early to tell mode, especially in this day and age in college basketball. It was enough, especially with the teams in the high end of the ACC, where you're switching in freshmen every year, you know, that are at the top of their class. Now we're doing that plus transfers for the middle to low tier teams. You know, I still have a lot of faith in Miami. I think that Pitt could be a trickier team than I thought they would. Virginia Tech, unfortunately, I saw them lose to South Carolina. They might leave a lot to be desired. Ultimately, at the end of the day, though, my analysis from prior to the season kind of remains the same, that you have a very small handful of teams that I think are Sweet 16 caliber, and then a whole lot of mediocrity in the middle. Now, mediocrity in ACC terms isn't that bad, and I still think that they could send 7 teams to the tournament. But of the 14 teams in the conference, you know, it's going to be an all-out brawl dogfight come conference play, you know, between teams like a Virginia Tech and the Florida State. And, you know, I could go on and on and on. So I'm looking to get the tea leaves. It's easy to devalue conference play, but at the end of the day, that stuff counts on your resume at the end. So I'm looking to see how these teams do when Bubble Watch comes around. We're not going to be forgetting about November, December. It can be the make or break.
We sure won't forget about him. Andrew Alex of 24/7 Sports with us. Andrew, enjoy your feast week. Watch plenty of good hoops. Here's to the Hokies getting bowl eligible. We'll hope to talk again soon.
Yeah, I guess next time we'll be talking. It'll probably be a little ACC championship preview, and I'll be excited. Austin, the listeners of Nebraska, have a great Thanksgiving, guys. Always a pleasure, and I'll catch you on the flip side.
There he is. Andrew Alex, AA with us on our Allo VIP line, brought to you by Allo Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. That's a lot of teams fighting for just a few bowl spots there, Stricky.
Yeah, just to get a look and get a sniff of it. But there's a lot on the line. I think it all means something, and this is the time to get behind your team and root for them to make it, see where you land as far as the bowl committees are concerned.
Stricky's been doing his Big Ten Plus thing. One more game left to call. Jay Foreman doing his Big Ten thing today, so we'll step aside, cross it over with a DP in the building. DP and I will take you through the first hour of Old School before Jay joins us, but we'll send the Husker Hall of Famer, the 9-year NBA vet, Erick Strickland, off into the weekend in style to wrap up on the block next.
Are you looking for some holiday fun? This year, start a new tradition. Make the Nebraska Christmas Lights Show experience an annual event for your family and a cherished memory to look forward to every year. From Black Friday to January 3rd, buckle up and tune into the rhythm of the lights and let the magic of Christmas take over with the show. Now located at Star City Shores, just off of 27th and Highway 2. Buy your tickets for just $20 or $25 per car today at NebraskaChristmasLightShow.com.
It's the holiday season. Time for work parties, friend get-togethers, family gatherings, which means lots of eating. Maybe you think you've perfected your holiday meals, and maybe you have no idea where to even start. Let's fix that right now. No holiday party is complete without Führer's cheese spread. It goes well with any type of cracker, pretzels, apple, chili, vegetables, chips, and of course, it's perfect to pair with wine or beer. Holiday meals aren't complete until Führer's cheese spread is on the table. Find your own container at your nearest local grocery store today.
Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by at 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Go to GELandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. Switching over to football on Friday, November 3rd in Class A, number 6 Lincoln East would fall to number 3 Elkhorn South 24-19. In Class B, number 9 Norris lost to number 1 Bennington in a close one, 23-20. And number 2 Waverly would advance to the semifinals after dominating in a win over Hastings, 45-21. Switching to volleyball, here are your 2023 state champions. In Class A, Lincoln Southwest won in their championship game over Papillion La Vista. In Class B, Omaha Scott will continue their dominance in recent history, winning over Norris in 3 sets. In Class C1, Minden won over Kearney Catholic in 5. And in Class C2, Lincoln Lutheran won over Clarkson Lay for its 3rd straight championship. This has been your Southeast Community College High School Minute. Learn more today at southeast.edu with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford.
At Allo, we believe in the exceptional. From extraordinary whole home coverage to super fast speeds, our local teams are always on hand to make sure your service is running at top performance. Let go of lag, banish buffering, and enjoy outstanding service throughout your entire home. We believe in delivering nothing less than exceptional service, so that's exactly what we do. Visit us at allofiber.com to experience the exceptional.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Thanksgiving is near, and Fairway is now taking orders for fresh turkeys, holiday hams, prime ribs, holiday trays, and more. Save yourself the stress of waiting until the last minute and order ahead this year for your holiday meals at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
We've got a playoff rematch coming up this Friday at the Icebox as the Lincoln Stars face off against the Des Moines Buccaneers. It's the Buccaneers' first visit to the capital city since being swept in the first round of the Clark Cup playoffs last April. Don't miss out on an exciting Friday night of Stars hockey. Purchase your tickets today by heading to LincolnStars.com.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings. Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
One final segment on the block. Austin Norman, Erick Strickland with you here for just a few minutes. We didn't get to the Strick. It definitely deserves more time. I wouldn't be shocked to know that DP&J will talk about this eventually. But hey, more came out about Michigan. Funny.
Okay.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
So, what's new today, you might ask? Well, Michigan parted ways with its linebackers coach, effective immediately. Didn't suspend him with or without pay. Fired him. Straight up fired him today. Why? This linebackers coach, whose name I need to find if I'm going to be giving this information, I'll find it here shortly, destroyed computer evidence relating to the Connor Stallion scheme.
Oh, wow.
Whoops.
What is it? 30,000 emails. 30,000 emails. And, we've been seeing a lot of this. We see a lot of this going around. Yeah, that's crazy. Oh man, and that's Ernest Hausman's guy, right?
That's Ernest Hausman's guy. Yeah. So yes, a source told ESPN that Partridge's firing stemmed from his lack of cooperation with the NCAA investigation.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. Michigan's linebackers coach is out. The other part of the Michigan news of the day, Strick, is there are links back to a Michigan booster, unnamed, but this booster went by the name Uncle T. So what Michigan did was it scrubbed its
Uncle
Board of
T.
Regents page. So now if you go to click on the Michigan Board of Regents and see who they are, that page is not up and running because one of their boosters was allegedly funding the Connor Stallions ticket sign stealing scandal. How about that?
Oh my. Yeah, it's only going to get worse. And I really don't think it's going to get exposed by the end of this year.
Not in full.
This is gonna, and I've been saying this. I've said this on WTF, and I've said this here on different times. I said there's bigger things that are going on behind the scenes that we just don't fully know about.
Mm-hmm.
That I think this part of the suspension is just really to kind of say they did something with more to come, and I think it's going to happen after. So just look, just start kind of watching the trickling of the effects of things as the season gets over and guys that are there, and that'll kind of start to tell the story as that there's something really going on.
I kind of want to say Michigan got its first plate of food and there's a second coming.
Mm-hmm.
But given that it was just a 3-game suspension and just the regular season for Harbaugh, it almost feels like Michigan started with dessert. They got the sweet part out of the way, and they're going to have to
Yeah.
eat their vegetables here soon.
Oh, it's definitely gonna come down the pipeline. It's definitely, this is only probably scratching at the surface of something deeper.
What's coming up with your weekend? Anything fun?
Oh,
Looking forward to Huskers, Wisconsin?
have to go to Phoenix. I'll be watching. Have to go to Phoenix for a charity event and walk some stairs for an organization that causes for adoption. So
nice.
trying to
Cardio
do-
for a cause.
Yeah, cardio for a cause. Trying to do a little part. I'll get some good weather. Now they're starting to get kind of brisk outside, so I'll get a little bit of good weather for a minute.
Swing the sticks at all?
No, not this
Business
time.
trip.
Yeah, it's strictly for that. No clubs.
Fair enough. Stricky, have yourself a safe flight. Have yourself a good weekend. Go Big Red.
Go Big Red. We hoping to be punching our ticket.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
He's Strick. I'm Austin. Old School comes your way next. DP will be in the first hour. Jay Foreman should join here soon. It's been fun. Thanks for all your involvement on the Sartor Heyman text line. Andrew Alex on our Allo VIP line. For Strick, I'm Austin. We'll talk to you next week. Go Big Red.
Living life to its fullest is just a free consultation away. If you're living with symptoms that you can't shake, then bring your low energy, brain fog, belly fat, grumpiness, muscle loss,